Okay, now this topic is about emotional preparation. Now, I will teach emotional preparation, and you might already know how to be able to do it. And as you develop as an actor in your career, you will continually have to train yourself to be able to adjust and teach yourself and learn how to do emotional preparation. And I'd like to add, I like to call it emotional activation. The last step of emotional preparation has to be activation. You can't just go do the preparation without the emotion being activated. We want to activate the emotion. Now, I got to address this. This whole topic of emotional preparation being only for the first moment in acting. I don't believe that for a second. There's emotional follow through that happens in every single aspect of any acting class, any acting exercise, and every single acting scene. What emotion you start with, if it's done at a level where you've got real emotion activated, that emotion, that emotional activation is going to follow through within the entire scene. Now, it may not, but it really does have a possibility to. And when you get really good at working with it, you'll be able to figure out all of the different ways that you need to keep adjusting to be able to pinch out those emotions to be able to have them into activations. Activation's key. What I just said is incredibly, incredibly important. We're doing work to be able to figure out how to put emotion into interaction. Now, look, I've studied over 25,000 hours of all the different Meisner stuff, okay? And other acting stuff too. Look, I get it. Don't worry about the logistics of um, some of the explanations. Everybody has a certain explanation. But when I go through and I look at all the different work and my 8 feet of acting notes, I'm telling you straight up, the only thing that matters is your emotion being into interaction. There's a, that's incredibly, incredibly important. I'm not going into stories. I'm stopping myself from going into a story. But the thing is, this is important. So we're dealing with emotional preparation. We're going to get into this as quickly as possible. I'm not going to hold you back in any way at all. And there's no pressure for you to use it. Let's say you go through the Reasons to Knock book and you come up with some emotional, you tick off the ones that have some kind of emotional meaning to you one way or another, or you know that they would have a meaning to you if you were in those experiences. And all of a sudden, it's incredible because now it's a situation where you've got this whole thing happening just because you chose the right material. Did you hear me? Now, because you chose the right material, you were automatically energized, motivated, going through what you're going through. Now, that's incredible. That's an incredible thing. And I want you to trust that right from the beginning. If you're trusting yourself to go through and you know the difference between uh say celebrating holidays doesn't do anything for you. I'm just randomly picking this up. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but let's say it doesn't. And you know that that's not something that you're going to be able to really identify with. But maybe you can completely believe that somebody congratulating you with a new car would be motivating, or you want to surprise somebody with a new car. That's just, it literally is right here. So that's an example. I mean, there's blocked driveway alert. You have to knock on somebody's door because you've got a blocked driveway. That's a valid reason. If that reason motivates you, if it clicks off the boxes of inspiration and of drive, and it gets you going, then that's what you want to do. That's what you want to work on. That's what you want to be able to just jump into. And you want to be able to do so with the freedom of like, well, You don't need to spend 3 hours on emotional preparation to be able to come and get on somebody's door and knock on the door because you have a blocked car in the driveway. And your work can still be, oh, incredible, absolutely incredible. But we're dealing also with the fact that emotional preparation can work. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care if you're studying with me or somebody else. When you're studying with anybody, I am never myself teaching you in any other way than to develop your own personal acting technique. It's your own personal acting technique, guys. You can put your name on it. I don't care. You can reference what you've learned with me, and that would be very, very kind of you. But the thing is that your personal being is going to have checking the mics on, yeah. Your personal being is going to get activated in certain ways. When you're activated, you have to figure out your own instrument. Now, people will look at me and they'll say, how did you do such and such, Simon? How did you tell me that you knew this and this and this? I didn't even know that about myself. Look, I have a lot of fun doing this, guys. I have a lot of fun. And I can sit there, I can tell you, if I see something in somebody else that they're going through and I don't know where to find it myself, I will stay up all night if I need to, although not always, but I will find what is that for me. I'm not in any way taking away from anybody else. I'm trying to say, look, I saw some sort of thing in their work, an emotion that I didn't quite know much about in myself. And then I will go on a discovery of how to be able to discover that emotion within me. Now, that's incredible. This is what we're doing. I'm not here to say, oh, well, I'm not here to be overbearing to anybody except for you're in your own journey, guys. That's the truth. And that is the way it's going to be. So we're dealing with emotional preparation. I like to call it emotional activation. There is two main ways. We're dealing with imagination, which I have imaginarypreparation.com, and there is emotional preparation. Emotional preparation is typically going to be all of the preparation, all of the research, everything that you're doing to be able to understand the emotion. And then you can't forget to activate. Okay. Activating a feeling is not activating. As you study, you will learn the difference between when you've activated a feeling or when you've activated an emotion. If you've activated an emotion, it's going to feel different than a feeling. It's just how it is. When you're working with me, I will make sure that you know the difference between those two things, the feeling versus the emotion. And I will let you know when you're in each of them. What that will do is it will train you. Now, look, every single one of us have our own unique. I mean, we're all like instruments. We're all instruments of our own facets and everything else. So we work in a way that's going to look. We need to understand ourselves and work to we're understanding ourselves at emotionally understanding ourselves. So don't be afraid of this. This is so fun. This is so absolutely fun. So I'm going to break this up into a couple of different sections. There's a couple of topics here that I want to make sure I don't forget to go into. Okay, so let's watch the next one. But take your time. If you need to hear this again, go back and listen to this again before you go to the next one. It might be a really smart idea. Thanks, guys.